You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast. And this is show number 600 for Sunday, the 21st of June, 2026.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young, and together with my jolly good chum Jayne Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Jayne.
Hello there, Michelle. Happy 600th, if that's the right way to do it, and happy Father's Day as well. Not to you, obviously, but, you know.
Well, yeah, okay, fine. I'm not a father, but yeah. 600, wow.
Exactly, wow.
We've made it.
Does that mean we can retire now or something? It's like, 60.
Oh, yeah.
No?
Will we have a 601?
I think so, probably.
Well, we will find out more later because we have got a packed podcast to you to enjoy this week with all things Disney, a little bit of everything for everybody to enjoy, and one or two opinions along the way. So let's kick off this week's show with basically some news you might not have heard of, Jayne. This might absolutely stun you. You might not have heard this news.
Go on, what have I missed, Michelle?
Well, seemingly the buses at Disney Springs have been trialling only allowing resort guests to access them, and they've basically decided it's going to go ahead and no longer be a trial but be a permanent occurrence starting on June 28th, and it's going to involve buses and watercraft for anything basically going from Disney Springs to seemingly cut out the thousands of people that are parking in Disney Springs car park and then utilising the buses to get to the resorts.
Yeah, I must admit, I think every time I've opened up any of my social media feeds over the last few days, there's been lots of discussion, shall we say, taking place about this, and lots of clarification needed and people not seemingly to understand what's cracking off with it. But yeah, this is I know I've seen quite a few people go, well, why don't they just charge for parking at Disney Springs? But I think the underlying element of that is that the retailers like the fact that it's free parking because people then come in and shop. So, I think that Disney are probably torn between the devil and the deep blue sea on that one. But as you say, it's a loophole that unfortunately, probably due to vloggers and YouTubers and influencers and the rest, has been publicised as a way to save your car parking fees, and it's obviously got to the point where that's being abused too much.
Well, it's like everybody. All of these secrets that only a few in the know, if you know, you know. Once everybody knows, it's no longer a hack, and Disney sort of think, I'm going to clamp down on that.
Yeah. But if you're staying on property, you can still do exactly what you've always done.
Yeah. It makes no difference to us really in the UK because we do tend to spend on property. So it's not an issue. It's not going to impact on us. It's probably going to impact more on people that are local who perhaps haven't got the reservation.
Yeah.
So we will see what happens. I am all ready to show off my park entry, not magic band.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the argument, I suppose, is also that if you're a resort paying guest, then, it can be a little frustrating should you go to get on, particularly the water taxis down to French Quarter. As I experienced February, March last year, there was a few times we ended up taking buses because we couldn't get on the water taxis because the queue was that long. And it makes you wonder whether that's because it was resort guests or whether it's because it was other people.
You mean beignet hunters?
Beignet hunters, yeah.
Well, we shall see.
We shall.
I have some news over from the Disney Cruise Line.
Ooh.
And Disney Cruise Line has finalised a massive long-term agreement with the Port of San Diego to double its West Coast sailings through 2031.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is starting with the 26-27 season. It's going to keep 2 ships actively stationed on the West Coast, which is bringing in over 1 million passengers through the terminal. And they're going to have extended itineraries going to Catalina Island, Cabo San Lucas and Ensenada.
Ooh, do we know which ships are going to be out there yet, or has that not been announced?
Well, for the 2026, we have got the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder, and they are both simultaneously sailing the Alaska route out of Vancouver.
Ah, okay.
So the Disney Magic has added the port of Icy Strait Point to their itineraries,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other cruise lines do go to Icy Strait Point, and it's always raved about by its untouched wilderness, the deep connection to the locus indigenous culture, both Magic and Wonder Alaska bound. And then we know ourselves the dream is going over to Europe for the Mediterranean. And this year they have got a new stop in Sardinia as part of their portfolio to the European
Oh, I
parts.
didn't know that. Interesting.
So that's all very exciting on the cruise line. I believe they've also made some announcements with regards to the Fantasy Dream class ships having menu changes, taking away and modifying the menu to make it a little bit more accessible, I think was the rationale, where they have put basically cocktails of the day, bye bye, and merged soup, salads, and starters into one
Mm.
thing, and then mains, and then desserts, because some people are complaining that dinner service has been taking too long. Whereas some people like to have a bit of a salad, a bit of a starter, a bit of a soup, salad, etc., main, and dilly dally over it. So I suppose if you want to dilly dally, you talk to your serving team.
Well, that's it. There's nothing stopping you, as we know, with the cruises of ordering as many of whatever you want anyway, isn't there?
True. I'm excited for this upcoming summer because there is something happening at Disney Springs that I'm quite excited about.
Oh,
Because my name is Michelle and I love kakagore.
okay.
And it's not something you get a lot of in Yorkshire.
Yeah, well, no offence to Yorkshire, Michelle, but it's probably not got the temperatures that you'd appreciate it.
I don't know, I wouldn't mind it every now and again. But I do remember as I was growing up being told, don't eat yellow snow. So I would never have a lemon flavour. But hey ho. So this is linked to Morimoto Asia. They are expanding their footprint out onto the walkway with a brand new dedicated outdoor snack cart. And it's going to serve
Ah,
traditional shaved ice topped with flavour syrups, popping boba, and fresh fruit, which got my attention.
oh, that'll be interesting. Not something I actually
So
have tried before, so maybe that should go on my little list.
well, for me personally, you know, when you're walking around World Showcase and you get halfway through and you're absolutely melting,
Yeah.
I always make a beeline to the little cart just outside Japan that sells kakagore. And
Mm,
if you get the condensed milk on the top, evaporated milk, oh, it's delicious.
mm.
Very nice.
Okay, on my list it goes.
Super duper. Jane, I gather you've got some news still keeping with Disney Springs about coffins.
Yeah, so we've got new signage that's gone up for Six Ravens. Now, Six Ravens is kind of the savoury side of Gideon's.
Hmm.
And apparently, so they're going to have these little coffins, which are basically like little pockets of pastry that are filled with a filling of some description. So apparently, the Six Ravens is a nod to the Tower of London, and the legend of the resident ravens who still guard the tower to this day. But apparently, the coffin is a beloved pastry in medieval Europe. Remember that word?
Hmm.
Beloved pastry in medieval Europe. The coffin remained popular through the English Tudor period. That would be the early 1600s. So I was like, what's a coffin? So I needed to do a little bit of research. So apparently, these coffins were a stiff pie shell, that is the quote,
Mm-hmm.
made using a mixture of flour, suet, and boiling water. When it was cooked, it created quite a tough protective layer around the food inside. The pastry would then be majorly discarded because it was virtually inedible. But because the shell became soaked with the meat juices, what would happen is that the gentry would eat the insides, leave then the discarded pastry shells, and then the servants would have that as their meal, and hope that there was enough meat juices that were left to make this flour pastry thing a little bit more edible. And it's kind of an early form of what we would now call a hot water crust pastry, and I suppose a little bit of a forerunner to what we would probably know and appreciate, Michelle, which would be a Cornish pasty, with that idea of your meal is contained within a pastry shell so that it can be handled when you're busy working. Coffins that apparently are beloved. I'd never heard of them, so I had to look it up. So there you go.
And this is me thinking again, we love pasties in this country. We adore them. And there is a particular chain of baked goods shops called Greggs. And we all love a good pasty from Greggs. How stereotypical of a British person if you've not had a pasty or a sausage roll from Greggs. And linking to what you've just said, I have to share this because I find this really, really fascinating.
Go on.
That the Cornish pasty originally was filled with potato, onion and swede for your sort of like miners and your working people, whereas the upper class people would have it stuffed with rich meats like venison and lamb. It got into being eaten by miners because the miners, when they were working down the mines, would pick out the lunch and start eating it. Well, because their hands tended to have traces of things like arsenic, they tend to die. We know arsenic is bad. So the crust was quite thick round the outside so that they could use it as a handle and eat the rest of it. And then the crust would be discarded and thrown in the bin.
Yes, because the crust on a Cornish pasty is like a rolled effect, isn't it? So it is quite thick, and like you say, it does form a natural, almost handhold.
And it makes like a letter D, a capital D.
Yes.
And in some parts of the UK, the top half would have been filled with your potatoes, maybe meat if you were affluent, and then the bottom half would be filled with a sweet filling like fruit and jam, because then you would have a lunch with dessert all in one pasty.
I wonder what would happen if you started at the wrong end. You could have your dessert
well,
first.
Then you'd have a sweet start. Us in the UK love protecting our foods. So in 2011, the Cornish pasty was granted protected geographical indication status, meaning that any pasty that is sold as a Cornish pasty must be traditionally prepared and baked in Cornwall using a specific regulated recipe.
Wow.
So hence, you no longer go to said Greggs and order a Cornish pasty because you can't call it a Cornish pasty unless it's been baked in Cornwall.
It's a bit like a Melton Mowbray pork pie, isn't it?
Yeah. How have we got to this? Let's get back on track, Jane.
It's a bit of culture. That's what it is, Michelle.
Bit of culture.
Bit of culture.
Well, talking of culture, Shanghai Disneyland has celebrated its 10th anniversary with a massive year-long celebration themed around With You, It's Magic Plus.
Oh, okay.
There was a special gala with brand new castle stage shows, updated parades, fireworks. They've already welcomed over 100 million guests.
Wow.
On the big day, they didn't just have Josh D'Amaro there. They wheeled out former CEO Bob Iger.
Oh, okay.
And they made a few big announcements talking about future expansions. There's going to be a Spider-Man themed land and 2 upcoming hotels.
Interesting.
So very exciting, and there's quite a lot of fun and games available if you want to go and do a little search where you can watch what happened. There was also a one night only gala nighttime spectacular, and that had Bob Iger on stage for the symbolic lighting of the resort's wishing star just before the anniversary's fireworks spectacular.
I suppose it's quite nice that they got him there, because obviously it was him that instigated the whole Shanghai resort in the first place, wasn't it?
So, Jane, I gather you are excited because Eat to the Beat concert series has been announced, which happens at the same time as Food and Wine.
It does, and I thought it might be worth. We do this every year, Michelle, but we need to have a look at the list of bands just to see whether Michelle and I have actually ever heard of these people, because for some reason we struggle every year, don't we? But then I thought, actually, you're there at the beginning of the Eat the Beat concert, and I'm there midway through, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah.
Shall we take a look and just see who we've got playing, and do the old, does Michelle know who I'm talking about?
Well, the problem I've got, I will be there on the 27th through to the 30th. So I've only got a few nights I can actually be able to see it, because the series doesn't start till very end of August, which I'm gutted about, because there are some people playing that I would have loved to have seen, but they're when I'm working.
Ah. Yeah, well, you've got two choices, Michelle. On August the 27th, you've got Evolution Motown, and then the 28th to the 31st of August is Hanson.
Oh, well, to be honest, I think I could get my groove onto either of them.
Oh, okay. That's all right.
I don't mind either. I've heard of them.
Good.
Don't mind a bit of Motown.
Yeah.
Don't mind a bit of Hanson. I only know one of their songs, but gentlemen that are fairly easy on the eye. I don't mind watching.
Okay. Right. Do you want to go through the whole list for who else is on?
Go on, who else have we got?
Well, September the 1st, 3rd, Evolution make a return. We then have The War and Treaty, followed by Yellow Card, Fly Guys.
Yeah, can I just stop you there?
Yeah.
I'm actually on the Disney website right now, and it's making me laugh that Evolution Motown and Five Guys have the same picture.
Oh, right, okay. I can't see that bit. That's interesting. I wonder if that's an error.
And they have the same for other bands, so it must be the band they couldn't find a picture of. Well, that doesn't bode too well for us. If Disney can't even find a picture of them, how are we supposed to know who they are?
This is very true. Yeah. Because after you've flown with the guys, we're then going to go and sit on a couch, apparently, because that's the next band. Then we're going to have a bit of a tantrum, because it's Fitz and the Tantrums next.
Cool.
Latin Ambition. Mercy Me.
Okay, I've heard of them, but I've never heard of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Grupo Mania.
Do you know, when I'm looking at the picture, do you know who came to mind?
Go on.
Right Said Fred.
I don't think it'll be them, Michelle.
No, but they came to mind.
Okay. We've then got Metro Latino Band. And then we kind of hit the bit where I'm going to be at Disney. So we have Element, followed by Newfound Glory.
Okay.
Smash Mouth. Now, I have heard of Smash Mouth. So they're on for a couple of nights. After Smash Mouth, we go to Champagne Orchestra, followed by Ray Ruse. And then one that we both have heard of, Michelle, on the 7th and 8th of October, we have Tiffany.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jane. I'd love to see Tiffany.
Well, I might have to, swing by.
Shout back to our youth, love.
It is a little bit, yeah. I only know one song, though.
Well, true. But we could download some of her back catalogue and listen to it.
We could. And pretend that we're big fans and that we've always been a fan, maybe. Yeah.
Absolutely.
After Tiffany, we've got Viva Latina. We then go into the Fray. I have heard of the Fray, and then we have Starship featuring Mickey Thomas, which I think is quite a staple of Eat the Beat. We've got Jacqueline Hayden, Ben Rector, Alan Stone. Stop me if you want to talk about those, any of these, Michelle. Sound Up.
No, not heard of them.
Lauren Alana. Bowling for Soup. I have heard of Bowling for Soup. Southbound, which takes us to the end of October. We've then got Boys to Men. No, Boys to Men, obviously. We then have Big Head Todd and the Monsters, followed by M80s, Grace Potter. Penultimate act is the Beach Boys, which they were extremely popular when I was there last year. And the act seeing out this season is the Hooligans.
I think out of all of them, I would have loved to have seen the Beach Boys. I recall watching a vlog where they appeared at a Universal event.
Oh, okay.
And John Stamos came on the stage as well. And it it looked amazing. And I just think the energy and the vibe, and I could name a whole long list of their records. So to me, they are the pinnacle. But I imagine if you are going to go and want to see them, I would highly, highly recommend you investing a dining package, because the dining package will enable you to have a seat at one of those shows.
Yeah, I think from the crowds that I saw last year, if you do want to go see something like the Beach Boys or anything, any of those bands that you know are extremely popular, yeah, dining package will be the way to go. Or be prepared for a long wait, or get there early, very early.
Yeah, because the lines are just going to be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, that sort of rules off our chat around all of the news. What's next, Jane?
Well, I've got a question for you, Michelle.
I'll go on
A
then.
bit of a challenge, really. So, obviously, we said that this is our 600th episode. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So, are there any connections between 600 and Disney?
Whew. Okay, right.
Bear in mind, I have no answers to this question, Michelle. This is all on you.
It's all on me to
It's
carry the
all
show
on you.
at this point.
Yeah, because I just thought Michelle is the font of all amazing knowledge. Therefore, Michelle will know, and I don't have to do anything.
Okay. I'm thinking about how many rooms a particular hotel has got.
Oh, have to be one of the smaller
So,
hotels.
well, Disney's Yacht Club features almost exactly 600 guest rooms.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So we've got that.
Right.
We've got that.
Hotel rooms, yeah.
I think another one that springs to my mind straight away is Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground. Now they have different loops for all the different parts of
Yes,
it.
yeah.
And I gather that loop 600 is officially called the Minnie Mouse Loop.
Oh,
And I gather it's the most sought after loop because they have some of the largest, closest loops to the settlement depot. So that makes them a favourite for seasonal Disney campers because of the easy access to Hoop-de-Doo, the
yeah.
beach, and the boats to the Magic Kingdom.
Of course. Yeah.
So, of course, you're going to want to be on the Minnie Mouse Loop because it brings you nearer.
Yeah.
I think another one is thinking about the annual pass. So the Imagine Key, which is available to Southern California residents over at Disneyland,
Yeah.
is priced at $599. So we'll call it 600.
Yeah, we like to round up, yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's a bit of a price point where if you are a resident in California, if you are going to go to the park for more than 4 days, it meets the sweet spot where that actually, if you're buying 4 park days, which is roughly $630, dependent on the actual day you're going,
Yeah.
it actually makes it more beneficial for you to buy the Imagine Key because it's $600.
Yeah, yeah.
So you then have opportunities to go on other days.
Yeah.
And this Imagine Key is exclusive to Southern California residents.
So
Phew.
take advantage, yeah.
Yeah, so that's 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Star Wars. This is you never would have guessed I would have come out with a Star Wars fact, would you?
Well, I'm now in shock because Michelle's volunteered the phrase Star Wars, which now makes me think about Star Wars and in relation to 600. And I've got no idea, Michelle.
So, the Mandalorian and Grogu film has such an extensive production and marketing budget that for them to actually break even
yeah.
at the box office, it roughly needs between 500 and 600 million to break even.
Which it ain't done.
Wow.
Yeah. I think this is what people forget with movies. My little bit of insider knowledge on movies is you have the budget that it costs to make a movie, obviously. So say a movie costs 150 to to make. You've then got to add on another around about 100 to another 150 for marketing. But then you've got to also then remember that when it goes to the cinemas, you don't get all of those returns back because some of that money has to stay with the cinema chains. So that means that you've got to cover not only your cost of making and marketing, but then you've got to allow for the percentage that all the different cinema chains take as well, which is why you might look at, say, something like Mando and Grogu was 150 million for argument's sake, but it needs to hit that 600 to be in profit to cover all of what I've just mentioned. So it's really interesting when you look at movies, and when, you know, the likes of Disney and people like to bland around, oh yes, we've took in 300 million. Well, that's lovely, but it don't cover your cost, mate.
As to the other one, could it be the number of Dole Whips I've eaten in my lifetime? 600?
Oh, might be pushing
possibly.
It a bit.
Could be. It could be the number of Disney attractions I have ridden over my lifetime when you sort of add up each individual trip, and each time I've ridden It's a Small World or Big Thunder or whatever from the 3 different locales of a Disney theme park I have been to, but it's not. It could be the number of times that I have watched Song of the South.
Maybe, but it's not.
It could be the number of Disney outfits I could put together out of all my very extensive collection of skirts, jackets, blouses, jumpers, spirit jerseys, etc. But it's not.
Okay.
It is going to go to something that I know Jayne has got tattooed on her body.
I haven't got 600 tattoos.
No, you've not got 600 tattoos, and neither have I. So we know it's not that.
I don't think I've even done 600 hours, to be fair, either.
No, I don't think I have either. We all know Experiment 626 is Stitch.
We do indeed.
And we love Stitch. And we know that this week there has been some sad news connected to Stitch.
Yes, very sad news, yeah. The voice of Lilo has passed away, hasn't she?
So Davy Chase, who voiced Lilo in Disney's animated film Lilo and Stitch, very sadly passed away at the very tender young age of 35.
I know. Awful news, awful.
Such a loss of someone so young and so vibrant, and it really hits you thinking when you hear somebody is in the 90s, well, they've had a good life.
Yeah, good
35 is no age.
No, definitely not.
And I believe the cause of death was complications from bacterial meningitis and a blood infection. And having had meningitis, I know it's no fun park.
Yeah, no, meningitis is one of those awful things that just ravages the body if you're not careful.
But it's not to do with Stitch itself. It is actually Experiment 600.
Oh, who's Experiment 600?
Well, Experiment 600 is a specific genetic experiment named Whoops. Whoops was built by Jumba Jukiba as an early prototype of Stitch. He was meant to be completely indestructible and highly destructive. However, a programming malfunction turned him into an incredibly clumsy, sweet-natured klutz who breaks everything he touches and says, whoops, after doing so. Sounds like me.
Oh, I like that, actually. That's cute.
So those are the 600s I can think of off the top of my head. If you, our lovely listening populace, have got any others that you would like to share with us, we would love to hear from you. info@disneydreamgirls.com. You can also contact us via Disney Dream Girls Podcast Family on Facebook. And if you would like to message us over on Instagram @DisDreamGirls. So, Jayne, we are now 600. So here is to the next 600 episodes.
Oh, wow. That's a thought and a half, Michelle.
We have managed this journey, I think, thanks to the amazing listeners that we have who will every now and again pop up and send us a little gem or send us a little Insta reel or something, a message, whatever. And that really does hearten us that we've got all of these friends all over the world that have contributed to our family and made it such a fun time to have created 600 shows where we waffle on 1 minute talking about coffins and the next minute we're on arsenic and Cornish pasty rolls.
Yeah, thank you all for putting up with us for 600 episodes.
Absolutely. And there is a very special group of people that we wouldn't be here without, and that is our Patreon supporters. They have kept our show up and running, and they will always have our podcast without any adverts. And we thank them for their support, because their few dollars a month really does help the upkeep of the show and keeps us up and running.
Definitely.
And you can find more about us on patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. If you want to join our little family over there, we do offer incentives for joining us, but also our eternal thanks for doing so, because we are incredibly grateful.
Definitely.
Shall we put a bow on our gorgeous present of show 600 and say a goodbye for the final time for show 600? And we will be back with 601 before you know it. But until then, it's a goodbye from me.
And bye from me.